I'm from Las Palmas, the Gran Canaria, which is the capital of the island.
Tell us a fact about Gran Canaria.
Anything.
Yeah.
Gran Canaria is one of the 7 islands of Canary Islands. It's between Tenerife and Fuerteventura. It's part of Spain, but it's near Africa. What else? It has the coolest people in the world, and it has like a lot of beaches and mountains and hills like that. Like, are you laughing because of beaches or what?
There's a lot of beaches.
But what's the actual accent for that?
Say it again, beaches.
Beaches. A lot of places with sand and ocean.
The places where the ocean meets the land.
And you can have fun. And that's it.
Also, what's your name?
Paula Ortega. Perdón.
We're in Las Palmas Marina, the classic hopping off spot. We're days away from leaving on the transatlantic, basically. I'm excited to leave again because last time when I did it by myself, it was great, but now I'm doing it with 2 of my mates, so it's like gonna be even better, I reckon. We really want to have Christmas at sea, but I don't know if we'll be able to because the wind's like, it's almost always like, I swear 90% of the time you have northerlies out of the Canaries, which basically is the perfect direction to cross, but for the next week it's going to be southwesterly, so we'll probably have to stay here. But the plan is to leave as soon as we can. It's funny because all of my ocean crossing experience has always been by myself, and now I'm just gonna have 2 other people as well, so it's like I sort of don't really know what to expect just as much as you don't really know what to expect. But it's a nice experience to share with someone you're close to. So
do you think it will make us closer?
No, I think it'll make us fucking hate. It's not going to make us closer. It's
never going to talk again.
Yeah. At the end of this crossing, it's like we're all going to go our separate ways, I reckon. Especially since Harry just got a load of fiberglass dust in my bed. So to prepare, we are obviously buying a ton of food and filling up the boat full of water. And
who's in charge of that?
You, Lily. Provisioning. Harry is in charge of fitting the new toilet at the moment because, like, yesterday, a few days before we were about to leave, the toilet just packed in, so we had to buy a new one. Luckily, toilets are cheap here in the Canaries. I'm fixing the saltwater tap. I actually just made
Here's one I made earlier.
This is one I made earlier. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. Basically, the old one just fell apart, so we've fitted a little electrical pump that goes here with a switch, as opposed to having a hand pump, and made this little wooden mount.
Did you just make that a little round bit?
Yeah.
You're so clever.
Yeah, I know. All with just like, with almost no hand tools. I just cut that with the jigsaw and then put a little hole saw through. Just gluing it together now. I'll clean up the glue. And then you have salt water coming out of the tap, so you don't have to use your fresh water when you're washing the dishes. And I'm going to rig up a halyard to the top of the swivel on the furling gear so that we can furl 2 headsails at the same time, which is quite important because when you're sailing downwind you want to have 2 genoas, one each side with 2 poles, and then if they're both attached to the furling gear then they can furl at the same time, but if you just put one up on a halyard then you can't because the halyard will twist at the top of the mast. So that was the other thing, and we're going to put a new solar panel on the back because there's someone selling one pretty cheap on the pontoon, and I just thought we could do it for a bit more if we want to run our fridge the whole time, and to make some sort of emergency tiller in case the steering breaks. Should be pretty straightforward, and that's about it. Lily's been sewing up sails, and
we've all got our little things to do.
Enough to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah.
That's a loaded question. I'm Lily.
Have you sailed across the Atlantic before?
I've never sailed across the Atlantic before. We're getting ready to go across the Atlantic. I feel so awkward on camera. It's Harry. You right? Just filming. Do you want to come and chat?
Yeah, come on.
This is Harry.
Oh yeah.
We've never sailed across the Atlantic before, and we're being taken by Max, who's our skipper. And we wanted to leave in a few days, but the wind's not looking great, so we might just hop down to another island for Christmas, so that we're not in the city, in the marina, in Las Palmas on Christmas Day, because it's all right, but it's a bit of a boat city, and it'd be nice to be somewhere a little bit quieter for Christmas.
How do you feel about the Transat?
I feel really excited. I can't wait to go. We've been planning it for a really long time, and we were meant to go in February, but because of COVID we couldn't go, so we went home, and now we're back in the Canaries. So it's been a long time coming, and I'm worried about the fact that I don't feel nervous. Like, I feel like I should be a bit nervous, but I don't really feel nervous. But I think I'm just compartmentalising it and not allowing myself to think about negative things, because you can't really control much.
It'll be a little bit strange going sailing for 3 weeks when we haven't sailed hardly anywhere in the past year.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a bit weird, because last time we just sailed from Portugal, which was like a week-long passage, and we were kind of in the flow of it. But now it's
yeah, we are going straight into a transat. Well, if we go to the smaller island, then maybe it won't be so intense, because we'll get a couple of days of sailing in before we actually leave. But I kind of think it just adds to the excitement of it. It's like we've been in the marina for 2 weeks waiting to go and getting ready.
yeah.
It's going to be a really good feeling, like, to go. It's going to be quite emotional, I think. Look forward to a rum in the Caribbean, and that's it.
Nice.
Hiya.
Hi, this is always a difficult time for me actually, because I'm terrified of heights, and I get really scared going up there because it's actually really high. It's like 50 feet, but we're going to go and fit this, which is a little Dyneema soft shackle and a low friction ring at the top of the furling gear, so we can have 2 sails go up the furling gear and furl at the same time, which is going to be really useful, because if you just pulled one up on the halyard like normally, you wouldn't be able to furl them both. So this onto the swivel at the top of the furling gear with a little halyard going through it should allow us to have 2 headsails at the same time, which will be really useful for going dead downwind.
It's enough, a bit more like.
That's good.
What's that you just made?
Well, hopefully we'll never have to use it, but it's an emergency tiller. So if this steering breaks, then we've made a small tiller which connects onto the rudder stock, which can be used to steerage. It ain't much.
What's it made out of?
There's 4 steel angles, and we've put a piece of hardwood in the middle, and it connects onto this bit of steel block which was on the rudder stock. It's got a little key in it, and then it just slots in.
Go on, show us it working. Or how would you steer it if the steering broke?
You disconnect the wheel, and can steer like that, but what we'd probably do is set up maybe some little blocks with pulleys.
Nice. Shitting hell, what's that behind you?
What? Fred.
Fred?
What is that?
Our friend.
A banana.
Fred is,
Fred.
he's flying along, isn't he?
So we were in Las Palmas for about a month, and we were planning to leave to cross over Christmas, but one thing led to another, and we ended up staying in Las Palmas for Christmas. And then we left on New Year's Eve, and we sailed to a very remote beach on the west of the island to meet some friends who'd hiked there, and we spent New Year's Eve at a really remote anchorage, which was cool. And spent New Year's Day playing around on a beach, which was really fun. I feel like it was probably the best kind of outcome for New Year's this year, because everyone was probably at home, not able to do anything, so it was quite nice to be somewhere really remote. Yeah, and then we sailed to La Gomera overnight, which was fun. It was kind of like, felt like the first proper bit of sailing that we'd done for me and Harry since we'd been back. So it was like the first night watches and stuff, and it was quite exciting, like, to get back into it. So we arrived in La Gomera in the kind of early morning, slept quite a lot, a good rest. The boys went for a hike and I slept. And then we sailed to El Hierro, where we are now, and we've been waiting out some bad weather that's passed through. So we've been kind of like quite secluded and quite isolated here because there's not really anything around. There's no town here, we're just at the bottom of some hills, and it kind of feels like we've been preparing for the transat mentally by being kind of like quiet and introverted, and we've just been reading and kind of doing a bit of work. And now we're not waiting, now there's a weather window tomorrow. So we're gonna take it and we're gonna go tomorrow, kind of late morning, midday. So we've kind of got everything ready because we had such a long time in Las Palmas, so we have everything ready to go. We just need to do a few things that we noticed on our sail over here just that need kind of tweaking. Just a little patch needs repairing in the sail, and a few little bits, and just putting the right sails up because it's going to be quite windy when we head off. So it's all good. I'm cooking some meals that will see us through like the first few days, so we don't have to think too much about cooking. And Harry's gonna get in the marina and scrub the hull in a sec. Aren't you, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah. We woke up and we were walking to have our showers, and first we noticed there was loads of police and like aid trucks just on the outside the marina, and then we saw a small, very long fiberglass open boat that was really just completely out of place because it's just like yachts and stuff here. And we saw kind of a crowd of people by these trucks and realised that it was a migrant boat that had come in the morning or the night, and there was probably about 40 people that had come off the boat. And it was a bit like, I think it took us all back a bit because it took us out of this reality, which is that we're just living in this like little cruising world where we bob around in our boat and we're all very, you know, like super privileged to be able to do that. And then there's all these people that are kind of doing crossings that are so unbelievably dangerous in boats that are completely unseaworthy, and just gave us a bit of perspective really. The world is fucked up.
It is fucked up.
You right, mate?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, I'm good. How you feeling?
Yeah, good. Just sort of staring with my coffee in the morning. It's quite a nice day to leave. I was just thinking about how nice it is here when the sun comes out, because it's been raining for the last week.
wind looks great to leave, and the boat's ready, and I'm really excited. The northerlies, or the trade winds, have settled really high in the Atlantic, which means that we won't have to go so far south to sort of pick them up and then travel across to the Caribbean. Whereas before they were really, really low, and it looked like we were going to have to go almost past Cape Verde, further south to get them. So the wind looks good, and we've got everything we need. We've got a great crew, and a good boat.
Yay!
Yay!
I'm feeling really excited. Not nervous, just like it's just a big feeling. Like I don't really know what feeling it is, but it feels quite big. Feels like Christmas, and just kind of thinking about speaking to my family and stuff before we go. Spoke to my brother, so I've said my first like goodbye for a few weeks, and that made it feel real. And yeah, it could probably just like hasn't really sunk in that we're going, but it feels overall like a really good feeling, but just quite surreal, and just enjoying our last cruise. And yeah, it feels quite still, and just peculiar.
Peculiar. Nice.
But good. Excited!
Anyone else leaving on the Transnet then, or is it just us?
So there's a few boats here in El Hierro that are leaving as well today. I think they're going to try and go this morning. We're just waiting for Harry to come back from the village with a few things.
Which could take a while.
Which could take a while because it's like a 3-hour hike, and he left at like 6 this morning.
Is he quick, Harry?
He's not quick. We love him, but he's not quick. And there's a French family and a Dutch couple, and they're leaving this morning, which is really exciting because there's not a lot of boats, well, not as many boats going, and we're in a very small marina, so it's quite exciting that we're all leaving on the same day because there's been really bad weather, and it's like the first window in quite a while, like decent window, and everyone's taking it, and it feels like it makes it that much more exciting that there's other people kind of like going on this voyage as well, like we're all like ready to go. We don't know where we're going. Potentially Barbados or St Vincent, leaning maybe towards St Vincent so that we can explore the Grenadines without having to get a COVID test. Kind of the other islands we'd have to get a COVID test every island that we go to, whereas the Grenadines there's lots of little kind of islands we can explore without kind of having to do that, so that was the thinking. But we'll just see. I'm just focused on getting across, and Barbados is like the first island, so if we get to the point where we're just like ready to get to land and go to Barbados, and we'll head there. I think lots of boats are doing that.
Cute. How do you feel about doing the crossing across the pond?
Yeah, excited. A little bit nervous, I guess. A little bit sad. I don't know why I feel sad. Maybe I've become attached to the Canaries.
It's sad, mate.
Well, yeah.
Aww.
But also, yeah, just saying goodbye to everyone, even though they're not here.
It's emotional.
Back home, yeah, emotional. But yeah, the wind looks good, and it'll be nice to just get into the swing of it and have my first oceanic passage.
What are you looking forward to the most?
Not feeling sick after about day 3, I think. Yeah, just reading books.
Not being able to poo.
Yeah, not being able to poo.
Why can't you poo?
I don't know, apparently it happens to people when they go to sea. They find it difficult passing still.
You.
Well, does it happen to you? Or?
Yeah, it's happened to me. The longest I've gone is a week. But hopefully it'll be alright. We've got some laxative tea.
You'll be alright, mate.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Canaries then?
Oh, I think they're great. I can see we've met a lot of people that have stayed here for a long time, and I can see why. They're really nice, beautiful islands. Fun, yeah, really good sailing between them.
Hard or easy?
Yeah, challenging. Yeah, really. Tested out the rigging and boat and stuff. But I don't know, there's always wind, or never enough wind. Yeah, it is hard.
The fatigue has already hit Harry.
Yeah. I was out on the B-roll.